For this video, we are going to work on installing a DHCP server and getting it to dispense IP addresses to two clients on two different networks. Setup is going to be very similar to what we had last time, where we had client 1 on LAN segment 1 and client 2 on LAN segment 2. And so we're going to continue that and just work with DHCP servers today instead of doing static addresses like we did last time. For the server software, you can use pretty much any distribution of Linux you want. I opted to use CentOS this time around. Why? Pure curiosity. I know a lot of people use CentOS for their servers, and I just wanted to get some experience with it and experiencing it and just working in it. I don't imagine that the commands are going to be that drastically different for any other version of Linux. I'm going to be installing a very basic DHCP server that comes with Linux in general. And as a result, the commands just shouldn't be that different, besides, you know, the installs and everything. So just as an FYI, when it comes to CentOS, they have two different variants as of right now. This is the older variant, this is the new variant. This one will be going the way of the dinosaur. They're going to focus more on this one, so I chose to download CentOS. If you opt to do CentOS, just be prepared for the fact that it is a very long download and it's got a very long install. But basically the same thing you do, find your architecture, 64-bit architecture, Intel chip, whatever you have, downloaded, and do the same install process that you did with any other VM. And once you get it installed and you get logged in, we're going to look at the network adapters. So right click on this toolbar, go to settings. Because we have two different networks, we need two different adapters. With this version that I have going right now, or this setup that I have going right now, we only need one DHCP server, and we're going to use each adapter to attach to each separate subnet. So in order for a DHCP server to serve addresses on that subnet, it has to be attached to it in some way. And that's what we're going to use, and that's what we're going to do. So I have network adapter 1, network adapter 2. This one is going to be LAN segment 1. This one's LAN segment 2. But before we do any of that, change one of your network adapters to NAT, because we need the internet. Before we can get started, we actually have to download the server. And that's what we're going to do right now. Activities, I'm going to go to this terminal. If I missed anything, doesn't look like it. So for me, I'm going to use sudo DNF. That's my package manager, install, and this is the package we're going to be utilizing for our servers, DHCP server. Just as an FYI, as an FYI, the built-in server package for Linux is a bit finicky. I've done this a couple times before and it works. That's what I would say. I got it to work, but I noticed you may have to do like some restarts on the clients or restarting the service, and sometimes it doesn't always take. Like, I still haven't quite figured out what the heck is going on in regards to that. But if you have some issues following along, just try it again, or just wait like a minute or two, because sometimes it takes a while for the information to propagate throughout your tiny little network you have going on here. So give it a little bit of time. It's a little bit finicky. Before we do that, we're going to go back up to settings, because we've already downloaded our tools. If you ever need to download anything again, you can just go to settings, go to your network adapter, change it to NAT, and download and do whatever you need to do. Okay. I'm going to change this back to LAN segment 1. So LAN segment 1, LAN segment 2. Clear that out. So it's a little bit prettier. So we're going to look at our adapters that we have on our server, and we're going to assign them a static IP address in the same subnet that I want them to talk to. So what's happening? Here's my little thing. Okay. You have your DHCP server here. And we have subnet 1 and subnet 2. And we have our network adapter here and our network adapter here. This subnet, similar to what we did last time, is 10.1.1.0.24. This subnet is 10.2.2.0/24. Okay? And because we want this to talk to this subnet, we have to give it a static IP address. And for this one, my static IP address is going to be 10.2. I don't know where to put this. 10.2. That's better. 10.2.2.1, and this one is going to be 10.1.1.1. So let's look at this thing right here. It matches this mask, right? This is our subnet. This tells us what our mask is, and these three numbers have to match up so that they can actually talk to each other, so that they're on the same network. This number can be different because this is the number we're going to be giving our host. So the first number I'm handing out is this 1, and I'm going to hand it to the DHCP server. Okay, same thing here on this network. First number is the 1, I'm handing it to the DHCP server, and it should be connected from there on out. So let's go ahead and do that. So remember, IP address add, address we want to add, mask, and what device. Going back to our server, let's type in ifconfig and look at what adapters we have. So first adapter is ENS33, second adapter is ENS36. First adapter is the one I'm going to use first. So IP, again, sudo, because I'm not root, sudo IP address add 10.1.1.1/24 on device ENS33. Yes. If I can type. There we go. Same thing. Just going to change these numbers. 2.2. And since it's on the second device, we're going to change that to, ENS36. So sudo IP address add 10.2.2.1/24 device ENS36. Cool. We're going to clear that out. We're going to go to ifconfig, and as you can see, ENS31 has 10.1.1, ENS36 10.2.2.1. Boom. We did that. And that should be the hard part, theoretically. Now, in order to set up your DNS or DHCP server, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to edit some configuration files. And the first configuration file we're going to change is the actual DHCP configuration file. So let's do that. Clear. So let me show you where all these things are. Besides just looking at the terminal. Just so you can just see kind of where things are. If you ever get confused and you need to go looking for it, this is how you do it. So etc are, it's called etc. Usually this is where you have your configuration files and everything at. So as you can see, we have a couple of configuration files in etc, another one, sysconfig, etc, and where was that other one? So we're going to open up a couple things. So etc, DHCP, configuration file, another configuration file, and this is the lease file that you're going to need to actually monitor to see it update itself in real time. And that's in the variable folder right here. We're not going to edit this one, but it's important if you just kind of want to see your lease update. So first thing we're going to do is go to the DHCPD configuration file, which is etc DHCP blah blah blah. So let's look at what that looks like here. So I went to activities, went to files. I'm home right now. I'm going to go to other locations, computer, what I say, etc DHCP blah 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 blah. Where are you? We have to log in. Probably gotta do that again because I can't type. And then we're gonna open up dhcpd.configuration. We don't have anything yet. Everything's commented out. I deleted a bunch of stuff. And we're gonna add some stuff in later. So I've shown you that one. Now let's look, what was the other one I wanted to open up? Sysconfig. So let's look at that one. Now it does say warning, this file is not used anymore. Not really. Like I said, this is a basic implementation of the DHCP server from its install packages. I tried to find the newer stuff, but it's hard to find like a actual manual for this package. So even though this says this file is not used anymore, actually it is. I was able to use this configuration file to make everything work. So again, we'll see what happens. So these are the files that I'm going to edit, dhcpd.conf, dhcpd, and I'm going to open the other file. I'm going to go back here. We're going to go to var. Where are we? What was it? Var, lib, blah, blah, blah. DHCP and leases. Okay. Now you need to have this file made and created for you in order to get your DHCP server work. So you should definitely check to make sure that this is actually here. You can do that visually, you can do it through the command line, but you need to have this file. So when I did my install, it created all this stuff for me, as you can see right now. Oh, sorry. Let's go back. You can see right now there's nothing in it. This is a clean install of the DHCP server, so there's going to be something in here later. We're going to see it update. But these are the two files that are most concerning for us when it comes to getting everything configured. This one just lets us see what's going on. Now let's look at the command line. CD So cd space / should take you to root. And if you want to change directory into any of these things, you can do it here. You can go to etc. Everything that you can do here. What was the etc? I can't remember the other one. DHCP. So let's change directory into DHCP. Oh wait, sudo. Password. Anyway, you can do it from the command line if you want to. Like I said, I just wanted to show you visually kind of where everything is and how to get to it. If you're not really good at the command line, it's fine. There's always ways around it. All right, so we got our stuff loaded up. We're gonna edit this DHCP configuration file. And since I already have everything typed out, I'm just gonna do this copy paste thing. 1 second. And password. Save. I don't know why I can't type. Anyway. Comments means it ignores it. So as you can see, I have subnet LAN 1, subnet LAN 2. For our first subnet, 10.1.1.0, our net mask, 255, and then you can put your range. In this case, I got 10.1.120 through 10.1.1.100. Okay, so that's the range I have for my first segment, my first subnet. Same thing here, basically subnet, the net mask, open brackets, put your range inside here. In this case, I'm starting from 40 and I'm going to end at 100, just so you can see that there is a difference. Make it a little bit more clear, and then make sure you close your brackets. Make sure you save. They're going to ask you for your password. Then that should be that. Now let's go. Where am I? Okay. So we got that part done. We edited our configuration file. Now we're going to edit our sysconfig DHCP file. And it's DHCPD args. And we're going to put in both of our adapters, our ENS33 and our ENS36 adapter. So let's go here. And same thing, if you want it to be ignored, put a hashtag in front of it. If you don't do that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on save. Should be good. Now, if you're having issues saving it, you can access this via the command line. You may have to do that. So actually, let's see and make sure it actually took. So we're going to go here. We're going to go back to our terminal. In this folder was etc sysconfig, right? So let's go cat prints files out to the screen. We go into etc sysconfig DHCPD. Yep. As you can see, it displays it to the screen. It did save. If you're having issues saving, you can do sudo gedit or whatever your preferred text editor is, and same thing, etc sysconfig -DHCPD, and it should open it up in a new window, and you can edit it from here. You should be able to save it from here, and shouldn't have any more issues when it comes to that. So you may have to open it up from the command line if you're having issues doing it from the folder, which is fine. So we got that done, got this done. Now, once we've done all that, we have to now start our server. And where is the command for that? I can't remember. Did I write it down? So CentOS, I should type in system control, start DHCP. So let's hope it works. D, right? Now it looks like it might have started, but I've had issues in the past, so I'm gonna type in status just to check, and you can see it's active and everything's running. So our server is running. I'm gonna give it a minute and then come back and we'll see if everything's propagating. So we're back. Now you can choose to wait a few minutes to see if it propagates. I'm a little bit impatient, so what I did was I went to each of my clients and I just restarted it. Other ways of restarting the server, if you ever need to restart the server, is you go to, let me go here. You'll type in system control, you'll type in restart in DHCP because that's the name of your server, and that should restart your server. For my case, I just went ahead and restarted my clients, and when we go back over here, let's look at our DHCP leases file. Let's see what happened. And it looks like everything worked. PC, this is the name I gave my one of my Ubuntu to. PC Sales 2, just random. As you can see, it's on 2.2.2.40. And when we look at our configuration file, that's exactly where we started. So it gave it the first address it had in its book. Awesome. We go down here. We had our configuration file. In this case, it gave it 25. And it's PC1 or Ubuntu 1. So it's between this range here. That's the one thing you got to make sure. Because I've done this exercise a few times, and I've run this server a few times, that's why it's starting with 25, is because it's leased, the other addresses, so 20, 21, 22, 23, yada yada, to other devices that no longer exist, and it won't update itself until oh, I didn't set the configurations. You can change this file and have global configurations attached to it. Where was I? So as you can see here, these are the global parameters. You can give it a domain name if you have a domain name for your servers. I don't, so I didn't do any of that. I was just trying to get a basic thing up and running. Your default lease time, these are in minutes. Your maximum lease time, again, in minutes. And is it an authoritative server, DHCP server, that when your computers connect to, yes or no? And that'll, these are some options you can give your server if you want to. Alright, so let's check out the actual IP address and see if everything works. ifconfig. Right, ENS33, just like our leases file said, we got IP 25. Let's go to Ubuntu 2. Same thing, ifconfig. Just like our leases file, 10.2.2.40. Everything's up and running, so we got our DHCP server configured pretty easily, actually. It's not that bad. Alright, later, Gator.